Welcome to Planning Phase Syndicate. This is our X-Wing podcast, episode 144, coming live to you tonight. How are you all doing? Thank you all for sticking with us. Tonight we have an amazing episode planned. We are going to be covering Where's the Points? Because we know there's got to be a points change coming up on the horizon. And so we decided to sit down and talk a little bit tonight about what X-Wing points we feel would be beneficial for the future. So sit back, relax, and hopefully maybe have, I don't know, I guess if it's at night, have a cocktail. If it's in the morning, have a wonderful tea or coffee. With that being said, my co-host for tonight, please welcome to the show, the bench warmer himself, Mr. Alex. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm not too bad. And also just saying, if it's the morning, you can still have cocktails. That's fine.
Fair enough. We did Daring Worlds, so
just don't drive.
Also joining me is the Giants #0 fan, JJ. How are you tonight, sir?
Oddly enough, the number 00 is actually on my custom jersey that I got for my birthday. But yes.
Is that because you are not just 10, you are a 00?
Exactly, 00. Doing well, man. Just saying, just had a very busy week at work. And after watching X-Men 97, I'm still not okay, man. But it was a great episode.
No spoilers, please. Some of us haven't watched any of the episodes yet. I got through Fallout this weekend, though. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to watch the 97 till my son comes over, though. They specifically asked to watch it with me. And because we watched, it was funny because when my kids, he was growing up, right? They didn't know what X-Men really were until I showed them the originals. Like I actually bought, this is how old I am. I bought off the internet. Someone burned copies of the old X-Men animated series shows onto a CD. And so the CD doesn't even have real artwork. It's literally a case that somebody printed like the X-Men logo thing and stuck it on there and then burned CDs that are handwritten onto the thing. And I bought them for, I don't know, like 50 or 60 bucks, I'm sure.
Nice.
So somebody made a pretty penny. It wasn't me that made a pretty penny, but anyway, long story short is I got to share all those with my kids when they were younger because that was for whatever reason, they never released those on DVD that I could find or VHS. I never had any of that stuff.
Yeah. Thank goodness for Disney Plus.
Yeah. Did you see the original attempt at that X-Men animated show? It was X-Men Kitty Pryde something.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wolverine had an Australian accent.
Yeah. It was really bad. Yeah.
It was Pride of the X-Men?
Yeah,
that
like
sounds
that.
Right.
Yeah, so I can't remember if it wasn't last year, it was the year before when we were at Grand Rapids Comic-Con. They actually had a panel of almost all the voice actors from the original animated series. So I actually went and saw that. They gave a whole panel talk. It was amazing. It was one of the best Comic-Con panels I've ever been to. So, the only other time I think that trumps that is when I met Timothy Thrawn, or Timothy Zahn.
Timothy Zahn.
Yeah.
Timothy Thrawn.
So,
yeah.
Well, anyway,
I got a signed copy of the Throne book by him, so it's great.
That's awesome. Yeah, we have a picture somewhere of my other son with him, and then they got one of the Destiny cards or something like that signed. I don't remember. That was a while ago. That was that was before COVID. So, so hopefully you all have had a good weekend. Really, we don't have any big updates. Next week, we are going to do an episode on kind of like a team event. So we were originally going to do Battle of Endor, but we've decided we're going to do a team event episode. I'm bringing on the gentleman that orchestrates I believe it's called Grand River. Let me double check that for you, but I believe it's called Grand River X-Wing Team Tournament in Canada. And so they reached out and said, hey, would you mind if we plugged on your show? And I said, you know what? Fuck it. Let's come on. Let's talk all about your team tournament and kind of talk about organizing a format structure that both Alex and I have somewhat participated in, not there, but in other places in the past, and it was really fun. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that next week, because those are kind of some of the things that, as we sit waiting for points, right, we can get some of these cool, amazing things that people, events going that people can attend. So also, as a reminder, if you have not, like, I guess this sounds really weird, but if you have not given us a rating by weird chance on like either Apple Music or on whatever podcasting, if you have not given the podcast a review or a rating, that would be awesome if you could go do that. Somebody has gone through and like posted a couple of reviews, and so they seem to be the ones that show up at the top. I don't know how important reviews are. I don't know if any of you care. I guess maybe it's a little bit of a guilty thing on my side saying, hey, I know we have lots of people that listen to the show. It'd be awesome if you could go give us a review. Not that I care about making the top podcasts of the week. I literally only want it just so that we can help inform other people who want to come and listen to the show. So, all right. Well, with that being said, why don't we hop into a little bit of what we got tonight? I have something first. We have an actual AMG update, kind of. It's not a real official update. It's a Reddit post I found that I had to go back and double check my dates on, because I thought maybe this was a April Fool's thing. And as far as I could tell, this is not an April Fool's thing. But somebody posted a supposed 2024 store champ kit for Legion, and that was on an Asmodee site for participants to use. I don't know if this is real or not, but I did see this. If this is real, if this is something that does come about for Legion, and a lot of times these European distributors get access to things that I swear to God we never see. Like, I don't know what it is about like Europe and getting access to like spoiler type things, but I saw this and I thought, hey, what do you guys think? Like, do you think this is real? And B, the way that they describe it, if you kind of look at some of the imagery in it and what it's talking about, is this kit is specifically talking about being different, like a more flexible type kit, with different style of prize supports, with some alt art cards, foils, stickers, that type of a thing. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the story is it's from like a non-public site, right? Like store owners with an Asmodee account can look and buy that for their inventory things. So, which would make sense, I guess, that they would get that before a general public kind of thing. So, and it's not like the image looks like super fake or anything. So, maybe, probably,
it's their branding,
presumably, yeah.
So it's very on brand, image wise, for what they've been doing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if they take the same approach to X-Wing, like have. Maybe like unconventional warfare, right? They did that at Worlds, or just have some sort of different game modes for different prizes, and then maybe have a different one later on for Worlds invites, if they're still going to do that. Because this one, it is noted that this kit doesn't give you invites for other tournaments.
Yeah. Which could mean they're changing up the structure, right? Like maybe they're going to change a Worlds invite structure. Maybe they. And I don't know, maybe this sounds crazy, but what if you open it up and had like, I don't know, a 500 person tournament or something like that, right? Like 500-600 person tournament, and it's a 4 or 5 day event, which would just like be the best thing for me ever, because like that means everybody would have to come to Worlds for longer. So.
Yeah, I think just going by that, it kind of does go in line with what we heard on Ion Radio with the interview with Will Schick, talking about just trying to bring in more casual players to different styles of events for like store events, and this might be the beginning sign of what's to come for organized play. Even if it doesn't have a Worlds invite, I mean, still it's something new and something fun to try out. And if it's going to change up the format of Worlds, it may not be a bad thing. We won't know until they fully reveal everything. But that it just gives me hope that it's on the way. I know last year after Worlds, it was the end of May before we got any type of word for what was coming. So I mean, That's to me, I take it as a good sign that hopefully this is coming soon for all the Star Wars games.
Yeah. And I'm not actually opposed to like an alternate way to play like for kits, because I'll be honest with you, that store championship kit got boring after like, I don't know, Alex, how many store champs did you attend? You were at least at like 15 or 16, if I remember.
Yeah, it was
right.
a disgusting amount. That sounds about right. Definitely double digits.
Yeah. So like at some point you can't, like, even once you get the Han card, like there's no other cards to get. It's all the same stuff. So it would be kind of cool to see something that gives you opportunities to win other things. And I don't know. I would be excited if they did something like this and then had a different format for Worlds Invites, as long as the Worlds Invites AMG are not specifically only to large cons, because that's going to be BS. And there's just like that would really ruin Worlds for me, because I'm not able to afford to go to all these cons. I just can't. It's impossible.
Yeah, I mean, maybe guaranteed entry for cons, but like Worlds should still be open if they're not going to give out like store champ invites like that.
Yeah. So we'll see. Anyway, I just thought it was kind of interesting. It was a little cool thing that I found. And I have one other update from our episode last week. So Alex brought up, hey, there was a list that didn't bring a Malorus, and then there was a list that didn't bring a Kylo. And he's like, I wonder if they're the same list. They are not, but they did place almost exactly next to each other, because the first list, Alex, has Malorus, Lynn, Hollow, Quickdraw, and LeHughes, and no Kylo. And then the next list has Quickdraw, Kylo, Phasma, Scorch, and DT. So no Malorus. And both of those lists had the opportunity to take either or of the thing. So I just thought I'd share that. That was a kind of a throwback to our Worlds discussion last week.
I mean, props for bringing Hollow. I love Hollow, but
yeah,
that number is a little bit low down there on the tournament. But I love Hollow. And Lingava and Quickdraw is a choice too. It's a nice one-trick pony, but also you're still actively hurting yourself for a bonus shot. So
yeah.
Anyway, all right. So what I wanted to do then is we'll talk about some points adjustments, right? And so this is kind of going to be a free-flowing open discussion, right, guys? Like I don't have a big set agenda. JJ threw some pilots in here that he wanted to talk about. JJ already wants points changes for new BOE pilots that haven't even been played yet. But okay, go ahead, JJ. Why don't you kick us off, because this is going to be our discussion on what do we feel for points. And is there something that we want to see, and it could be up or down. It does not have to always specifically be down. So I'm assuming JJ wants Aiden Fox to go up to 6 points. That's what I'm guessing, is he wants a 6-point Aiden Fox. JJ, why do you want Aiden to go down?
So if you take a look at his stat line, right, he is a B-Wing. He does have bombs and such. He is part of the new pack that just came out there. He comes in with a parting gift, which gives him the ability to drop off a bomb. And that's a fairly nice ability. However, on offense, he's I1. He is a B-Wing. He has a very limited dial, so it's going to be hard for him to keep time on target, especially against those ships that can easily reposition. And he can be initiative killed fairly easy, so it does make it hard for him to really contribute to the list coming in at 5 points. For what he can do, I think that this is a B-Wing that would qualify for coming down to 4 points, maybe to attract some people to actually, try this pilot out a little bit more. I mean, currently right now at 5 points, you're competing against Gina, which is really good. You're competing against Braylon, either version of them, which are really good, and 10 Num. 10 Num, who can double tap using 2 stress if he gets another one from the other Gina, and that makes him a really, really good asset on the team for 5 points. You're also competing for Boy Luke. That's another big 5-point cost ship that can reliably offer a lot of offense there. So I think if you want to see this pilot on the board from the new pack, you got to bring him down by at least a point, and maybe people will consider him.
And also, notably, it does not have the extra shield that like Braylon and Gina get. It is just the 4 shields.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have a Procket at I1, and that's always fun.
Yeah, good luck lining it up.
I mean, I like the ability, rolling the extra defense dice when you're stressed, because you're going to be stressed, right? And you're going to get an evade off that stress too, which is silly. But maybe we just raise the B-wings up to 5 and just keep them at 5, right? I'm all in favor of raising other ships instead of bringing them down, but that's my opinion.
Yeah. So moving on to the next one here. This one is the standard, the SSP of Dutch Vander that comes in the Rebel starter pack that comes in at 4 points. Now his ability is different from the custom Dutch that we get. His ability allows him to acquire target lock after he performs an attack. And he only comes equipped with an ion cannon turret and proton bomb. So he's not really taking advantage of any missiles or ordnance that target lock can really benefit to. It just makes him a little more accurate. Still has the same stat line as custom Dutch, same dial and such, but he comes in at 4 points. He's not really that really good unifying piece that can help other ships with target locks and such, like his custom self. I don't think I've ever seen this pilot in play, other than the one time AMG put on that display of the battle of. Actually, no, they didn't. That was the Battle of Endor or Battle over Yavin one. But yeah, I've never seen this pilot in play. I think that Rebels could use other options for 3 points to cycle out Horton, who's there currently, and Yvonne Verlaine. This is definitely a good candidate to be in there. And, we might finally get to use some of those standard loadout cards that we have just sitting collecting dust.
Yeah, it sucks that, he acquires a lock, but he's got an ion turret and bombs, right? Nothing, no munitions, no torps, no missiles.
Yeah. Now, the next one I got here, Rourke Garnett. This HWK pilot here, his ability allows you to choose a friendly ship in your firing arc and allow that ship to engage at initiative 7. Potentially this could be a really good ship. It can enable some of those really good lower initiative pilots to get their shots off early on, namely looking at Boudica, for instance. But beyond that, he doesn't really provide anything else other to the rest of the my goodness, the squad. 12 loadout points, pretty good. You could lower it down if you wanted to. I think this could potentially be a good Leia carrier, even if you just bring it down to 8 points. So that way, at least you have Leia in the group along with shooting at I7. He does have the title available. If bringing it down to 4 points means he has to lose the title, okay, sure, not a big problem. But this is a pilot that again hasn't seen a lot of play, which is sad because the Hawk the Hawk originally did show up in the Rebel faction first, and really hasn't seen any play in Rebels. It's mainly known as a scum ship now. So it's kind of sad not to see really any appearance of any of the HWKs, and I think that pushing this to 4 points could possibly see the return of at least this. Can open up a couple of squad building opportunities for the Rebels, and and make the game a little more interesting.
So hold on though. So there's a reason it's 5 points though, right? Because if you move it to 4 points, what happens? What does that actually break?
Just take out the title slot and you can go to 4, honestly.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because just having that basically 180 arc of anything you want is now an I7, which can get really, really scary if you have Gina and Luke and stuff just shooting an I7 torp at whatever. It gets kind of rough, especially with 12 loadout points. But if you take away the title, you have to actually fly them in a way with the turret, like Kanan and Scum, right? Where you have to keep,
you're taking away. You're taking away a 3-die gun out the front. You're taking out, a position for another fighter that could potentially be more offensive, and it turns more into a support piece. So yeah.
I mean, they got a bunch of good support cards in there. He's got a crew slot. Throw K2SO or Leia or Jin or whatever.
Yeah, and in the similar spot, Jan Ors right now is at 6 points. If you're not familiar with Jan Ors's ability, her ability allows you to gain a stress to allow another friendly ship to when they perform an attack to roll an additional die. Now we have seen instances where this has been tested, where people try to use various abilities to execute this twice during the same turn. There's that potential for that abuse there. But I think the biggest thing here is the title. If you remove the title, you can potentially still drop this down to 5 points, and you can still keep the 10-point loadout. It can still contribute very well for the rest of the list. Again, being that support piece without having to be a 180-degree firing arc ship that has the potential to roll 3 dice natively in the front arc. And I think that can really adjust the power level for Jan Ors, and maybe we get to see some play for Jan for Rebels there as well. The next one here.
Hold on, man. You just you want to move faster than are you in a hurry to go somewhere? Because I don't know.
No, but we got 7 factions, so that's why.
Sure, I get it, and we can always move the ones to another night if we have to. I think there's an actual discussion piece here, though, right?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know about Jan even being at 5. And I think it sucks if you have to take that title away. I do get that it makes it, more pushy, and maybe they should just rework the title, right? Could you just give me a different title, and kind of what they did with the Outrider? Yeah. The problem I have with Jan is because she just enhanced. We're in a heavy set meta of, let's give me a bunch of torps. Let's give me a million. Can you imagine just being able to give Fen that 5th or 6th die, right? I mean, that's just, I think personally, I understand why people want to see Jan. I feel Jan in this style of the game we're playing is a ship that could just go on the ban list. Personally, I'm in actual favor of just banning the fucking ship.
So outright. I do want to clarify, Jan Or's ability only affects primary attacks, so it can't be boosting torps or any type of munition. So it's only primary attack only.
Sure,
the
but
biggest
you're
thing
shooting
that
a torp without shooting a torp.
Yeah, it's. And then I'm putting Hera to give a lock for rerolls, and everything becomes double modded, and the stress is and what does Fen do? What does Fen do? Right? I mean, I just think we talk about Scum being broken. Fucking Rebels is got some broken pieces, man.
So let me address Fen, right? Because Fen's ability only works if you have that front arc, and if you take away the title, Jan Ors no longer has a front arc. She only has the turret arc.
Fen is an enemy ship just in the front quadrant. It doesn't matter if there's a firing arc in there. It's just as long as it's in the front.
Okay. I understood that as a firing arc, but okay.
Nope. That works for everything.
All right, then I'm sure I've been cheated on.
His thing literally says, before a friendly ship at range 1 to 2 engages, if there is an enemy ship in its front arc at range 1. And we've used that before with who was the other one, Alex, that we used that before with, that had that same conundrum that we talked about. It was 6 months ago, I think.
I mean, outmaneuver, as the upgrade references the front arc like that.
Yeah.
And that's you have to shoot out that front arc, and it specifies that it has to be a front arc attack. But yeah, there's a couple other ones that are they're like Terok, right? As long as you're in someone's front arc, they don't have to be a firing arc, right? He could be just directly in front of a Falcon and still strip away the tokens because he's in their front arc, regardless if the firing arc's facing him or not.
Yeah. So the issue becomes is Jan Ors can get rid of that stress, and that's twice that Jan Ors would be able to do that. Now, obviously, it's gimmicky at 6 points, but JJ's saying, hey, let's move this to 5 points. It might not be as gimmicky as we think it is at 5 points. I don't know. I think you just get rid of Jan Ors, or make Jan Ors charge base, right? Instead of this stupid stress thing, just make her a charge base ship. You spend 2 charges, it's every other turn, blah, blah, blah.
The stressing helps limit the maneuvers of the ship, which is cool. I also agree that I don't think Jan should go down to 5, but I'm not sure if Jan needs to be adjusted. It's just it's an awkward situation because of how different the power curve is. But like, I don't want like a Braylon rolling up and just getting a free lock at range 1, and now it's 5 dice.
Yeah, Merry Christmas there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. I agree. Let's move on. I'm not gonna let JJ's try to like convince us about Jan. Jan's done. You have AP5. So I have to ask why AP5 and you can't I don't
have to clarify
point,
this one. Yeah.
There's no 2-point AP5. So unless you're saying let's move it to 4 points, I don't understand this one.
I'm not advocating for the cost of the pilot. I'm advocating for the loadout value. I think AP5 could see a bit more resurgence if we just gave AP5 maybe 3 additional loadout points. That does open up a little more options for crew. For AP5, you can put in Fen Rao crew, which would be really great for the Rebels, just especially the really aggressive list that like to keep the opponents in the front arcs, allow you to take off stress. You can open up for Leia to be in there. There's no force carriers at that price point for the Rebels. Well, actually, Child, sorry. So maybe putting up to 6 points, maybe then. But yeah, that allows a lot of different options for AP5 where people can consider it. He's great at 3 points where he's at. He doesn't need to go any cheaper than that. I think his ability is well worth for what he brings to the table at 3 points. Zeb Aurelios, same deal. Needs a little more loadout value in order for him to see a little more play. I think he could be a fantastic piece for like salvage play. You know, his ability allowing you to cancel crits first, and with the right amount of crew and astromech, I think that's also good coordinating.
You're killing me here, man. You keep skipping. I don't agree with you on AP5 either.
So, in terms of the loadout value, you think that increasing him up to 6 points will be broken?
I think he's priced at 5 loadout because K2SO exists at 6. And being able to give someone a calculate and then coordinate them for something else and then have them do a blue maneuver, do an action. Because that's what people did with AP5.
Yes.
It got pretty silly.
Okay, that's fair.
So I think if you
just give him a million loadout, I don't give a shit about
if we were to increase the cost of K2SO to make him a 7 or 6, because you could still put him on Ezra, who's a 3-point TIE fighter.
But it's a 3-point TIE fighter.
I think it's just better just leave AP5 at 5 points and just leave K2SO at 6. K2SO.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not in agreement on the AP5 either. So I'll tell you what, you want to make AP5 4 points, then you can give them 10 to 12 loadout, and we'll move on with their life. That's fine.
Geez, if he's 4 points, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, it's like to me, it's like the Fen treatment. Like this is not quite the Fen of Rebels, in my opinion, but this is definitely not a ship I would not consider changing this ship at this current time.
So speaking
what
of
about
Fen,
Zeb?
Zeb could do whatever he wants.
I'm 100. I'll tell you what. You could take Zeb, and you can actually give Zeb 12 points. I 100% agree. I would actually approve of giving Zeb. Maybe not. Okay, maybe not 12. Maybe 11 points. I worry a little bit with Zeb. Just if you with the crew slot and the astromech block. Yeah. But honestly, like as a 3-point ship, giving Zeb 11 to 12 points is probably not the end of the world, in my opinion.
So, Fen Rao Sheathopede's not on there? You're fine with them being 5 points, 10 loadout, which was also the same price for the other Fen Rao until they knocked him down 1 point?
Yeah, mainly because of the amount of lists that we saw where he was really oppressive with his ability, being able to deny mods, especially now that we have even more torp carriers in the Battle Vendor B-Wings, and the new Wedge as well. Having that Fen piece in there at I6 to like come in and coordinate and really boost up those ships is probably a step too far in terms of the keeping the power level balance for Rebels. So I think that Fen Rao Sheathopede specifically is just costed where he needs to be at the moment.
Ooh, I would say knock him down to 4, knock some points out of his loadout, and just be like, cool, we finally have counter to just rampant double mods everywhere. Because it's only tokens, right? Like the 4 still works because those are charges, and like the rerolls, native, just inherent rerolls are all totally fine.
And it
And it
also
has to do with
stopped.
when he's stressed. Or, like, he has to not be stressed, so his ability, I don't know, maybe bring him down.
Yeah, I don't know about moving them down. I would say if you move them down, you do force people to stop taking. They have to choose which Fen they want to bring. Like at 5 points right now, who you're going to bring? Are you going to bring a Fang Fighter? Or are you going to bring a Sheathipede that is just going to die? I don't know. The 4 points might need to be tested though. That's a pretty. I don't know. If we're gonna shake up the meta, sure, give me a 4-point Sheathipede Fen. I love playing Sheathipede Fen. He was one of my favorites.
And also, you have to do it before like they engage. So if they just like natty out, you just nothing.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
So I see you have Lieutenant Blount on here. Are you proposing we move Lieutenant Blount to 2 points? Or are you proposing that Lieutenant Blount get more loadout?
So Blount is my choice for 2 points, but with the caveat that they reduce his loadout to at minimum like 3 points. He's definitely an easy ship for him to die. I mean, you're putting him at the power level basically of Bossk and the Z95, although his ability triggers a lot more often, I would say. But he can die really easy. We obviously don't want him to have enough points to put in like a shield upgrade or anything like that. But at 3 points, you can put Predator on him and call it a day. And I think that he's a solid option to replace Sabine as a 2-point ship. And again, I'm advocating for replacing, not adding on as an option to Sabine.
So I have a question. For you. What if I told you could have Zeb in the TIE Fighter for 2 points? Which is better, Lieutenant Blount with, let's say, 5 points of loadout? Let's say 3 points of loadout for Lieutenant Blount, and you could, and Zeb gets his 8 points at 2 points. Who are you going to take?
It depends on what I'm going for.
No.
Is definitely more
Come on.
It really does depend on what
in the game.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. Like Zeb is really good defensively, right? But Blount is more offensively. So if you're going for more of an offensive list, Blount was going to be my choice, because if I can initiative kill somebody at higher initiative.
So if you could only have one effing ship, if I'm telling you you're going to pick between these 2 ships, which one are you going to pick? You're going to pick Zeb, or are you going to pick Lieutenant Blount?
Blount all day.
Thank you. Yeah. You know why? Because rolling more attack dice is better. Stop giving 2-point ships to people to roll more fucking attack dice. Stop doing it.
He was already 2 points, and they bumped him up to 3.
I know they did it on purpose. Yes. Do not.
He's fine right now with like a shield upgraded Predator. It's great.
Yeah. You know who you could give? How about Captain Rex? You want Captain Rex? Give Captain Rex for 2 points. Give Zeb for 2 points to the TIE Fighter. Stop giving me a freaking, or I'll tell you what. I'll give you I'll give you a Bandit Squadron Pilot for 2 points. It has 0 fucking ability.
That sounds fair. Yeah.
You know what's unfortunate is that Kraken's at 4, which is like correct, but it feels bad because Kraken was really degenerate at 3.
Yeah,
just because it's like you kind of want him at like 3.5 points, but you can't.
Yeah. You can't. That, I don't know. I'm okay with seeing Kraken go. I am more offended that JJ thinks that Lieutenant Blount should be 2 points than AP5 at 2 points.
Because he's a coordinator. That's why.
I don't care. Lieutenant Blount should never. Oh my god. So I see there's a few things in Rebels that you don't have on here in terms of things like you don't have any of the arcs. There.
So I did consider the arcs for a bit, right? The majority of them are 4 points with the exception of Nora Wexley. However, the thing I find the most problematic with the arcs right now is the capacity for them to carry crew, which can enable them to be much better than what they are.
They don't got crew slots anymore, JJ.
Did they take over the crew slots?
Yeah, they replaced them
with
their
4 points.
Oh, okay. I completely overlooked that fact. Okay. Honestly, I mean, are you guys seeing more loadout value then? Because I think at 4 points they're fine where they are.
I would like to see Gavin have a little bit more loadout personally.
I'd
What
probably
would you
give
put
Nora
on
a
him?
little bit more loadout too.
Yeah, Nora would get
That's
more
fine.
loadout at 5. Yeah. But in terms of loadout, like what exactly would you load up the arcs right now with? I mean, the only thing you're really looking at is veteran tail gunner, which they all have enough points for. But beyond that, none of the astromechs really are going to be really good for them.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean it's kind of because VTG went up to 5, right? So it kind of like
Yeah.
hamstrings them a little bit. So bump them up to like 10 points maybe. So you could have like VTG and like maybe expert handling and a useful astromech or something, or
Okay.
like R3. That doesn't seem terribly inoffensive.
No, and I think or give us some standard loadout for those and switch those around. Like I would be okay with that too if they did. So are we allowed to say Han? Am I allowed to just say Han should just be Han and Luke should just go up?
Which Han?
Build your own Han should just be 8 points. Build your own Lando should be 8 points.
I was gonna say if
Yep, I know.
going up to 8, Lando better go up to 8, and Leia.
Yep. And Leia. Yep, I think all 3 of them should just go up to 8 points. Or if you leave, you could leave Leia at 7 as an interesting choice, but cut the loadout. I think you have to cut the loadout down like quite a bit, and I would be okay with that.
Is it because we saw too much of them in the previous meta?
Well, it's because we have standard loadout versions now, and if we're gonna play this, if we're gonna play the game, like to some extent, like I'm not super a big fan of standard loadout cards. If you've listened to the show before, you should know that. But standard loadout for me, the big thing would be is like having the conversation about like Lando and Han. Like, so they think Han's worth the same as the other one. Just make it a little one extra point and call it a day. And you could give Han more loadout back and let him be 8 points, and do the same thing with Lando. That way, we encourage taking the lower or the other ships. So I don't care about Leia personally. Leia has nothing in my heart. So
Leia's sneaky good, man.
I'm sure, but if you cut her loadout down to like 10 points, she wouldn't be as powerful. I don't think. 9 points. There you go. So Alex is having a hard time with 10, so we'll go 9. And I think boy Luke in the X-wing should go up to 6 points and stay.
You make a decision. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
You can leave Wedge BOE alone, in my opinion, for now. I still think it's really good, and it's probably almost too good for 5 points. But I would say for now, I would leave Wedge alone, and I would up Luke, and that way, if you want to take Luke, it's 6 points. So.
Would you consider increasing the loadout value of custom Wedge?
Yes, but not to take protorps.
Well, he doesn't have torps currently. He only has missiles. So, I mean, the best missile he could take is what, a concussion missile?
No, he has torps. Custom Wedge has torps. All the 5-point X-wings have torps. The 4.1s have missiles.
Oh yeah, you're right. The 4 points.
So that's why you slap plasma torps on him and he's fine. Yeah, you can like bomb him up a little bit, just like 11 points. You know, that feels kind of awkward.
Yeah, 10 or 11.
I know Cody would hate it.
I mean,
I don't like
Wedge
that.
Plasma is still good.
I think he's fine at where he is right now. I mean, well, BOE Wedge just kind of blows him out of the water.
Yeah, it does.
But I don't want to go back to Protorp Wedge again because that is actually oppressive.
Yeah. Now, what are you guys' thoughts on Sabine, TIE Fighter? Do you think that she should be rotated out as a 2-pointer?
Yes.
I think they should just troll everyone and give her 2 points of loadout instead.
No, fuck you. That's
no best part. Yeah.
I mean, if you cut her loadout and just say you get no loadout, you can leave her at 2, and then let and put maybe 1 or 2 other 2-point in there and call it a day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like it feels weird that she's at like 2 because like just the shit that she could do for being at 2 points is silly. But also like it's not like no one's dying because the other opponent Sabine's just racking them, right?
Yeah.
But no, also just give her 2 points. Easy. Targeting computer clan training. That's all you need. That seems fine.
Yeah.
And then just die to random crits like all the other TIE fighters do.
Exactly. Yes. All right, so let's go into the Empire for what I got here so far. So, top of the list here, I got Gar Saxon here. Now, this is a ship that we don't see very much play out of right now, which is kind of makes sense, right? Because at 7 points, you got all the decimators out there that are doing very, very well. You got hell, you can put in the custom Vader in there for that cost in there. So I think in order for Gar Saxon to see play, he's got to come down to 6 points, but he also needs a reduction in loadout value as well. We got to bring him down, I would say, at probably to 11 points. That kind of cuts out a lot of the crew up there. You don't want him running around with Vader, the Vader crew out there, and that gives him just enough points to put in a veteran turret gunner or veteran tail gunner, and have 6 points of loadout to do whatever else you want. You could put bombs on him or an illicit on there with a talent on there, and I think he's fine at 6 points, and we'll probably see some play.
So why not more points? Like, so fine. What if you put him at 13 points? Is that just
because Vader crew exists?
It's 14 points though.
Yeah,
They have
but
12 points.
Yeah, Vader crew is 12, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 11.
He went
points,
down to 12.
Well,
so
then I feel we almost have like a ship that's just unplayable. Like, I'm going to take a decimator at 7 points over Gar Saxon at 6 points. That can't run.
I don't
Vader.
know. I mean, that one extra point for your crew does open up a lot of other a lot of possibilities for the rest of your list to come in and do it. He's not going to be the same as a decimator, right? Because he doesn't have that turret arc. He's not going to be kiting around and taking shots as he needs to, but he has a better dial than a decimator, able to do those blue maneuvers at the 3 straight and having those 2 banks up there that the decimator doesn't have. Can cover a lot more ground. It can stop when it needs to and rotate. And Gar Saxon's ability allows him to shoot out the back basically with a 3-die gun. So you're going to get a lot more consistent offense out of a gauntlet there in that respect than if you're bringing like Lieutenant Hark, for instance. So it's another tool that the Empire can use at that cost point.
I think you might be misinterpreting his ability. Because while a friendly unit at range 0 to 2 does a primary against, if he's in the defender's rear arc, you can spend one of the 2 charges and they roll an extra die.
Sorry,
so they're just
killing
a dude.
But
that's
it also works on himself, right?
6.
Does it say another?
Yeah.
Oh, so he can't do it on himself. Nah.
Oh, no. Well, it says friendly. You're right. It doesn't say another.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. His ability would allow him
someone
to do it out the back as well. So yeah. Okay. I thought I read that right. But yeah, I mean if I had a Soontir Fel that can get around somebody from the rear and roll,
right, and now he's rolling 5 dice.
Yeah. Especially the Battle of Endor Soontir Fel. With that ability, I mean, shoot, that could be really, really good. You can turn Soontir Fel into a mini Fenn Rau out there for a little bit. It could be good.
Yeah, that seems terrifying. I would not want him at 6, honestly. Maybe give him a little bit more loadout, I guess.
Would you put him at the same loadout then as Wreck in order to make him competitive? Or even Mornaki, since they will be the
same what? I'm all
mission.
for making him a 6-point shift. Fuck it. Let's go all in, baby. Let's go.
I played against him when he was 6 points. That's not fun.
I don't.
That just wrecked you.
Look. We got Chopper. We get Chopper at 6 points. Can I get Gar Saxon at 6 points?
Chopper is not nearly as good as an ability as Gar Saxon. Especially with all the aces in Empire, just rolling extra dice. This is what you're just going to let him out with Jan.
All right, fine, fair enough. Ban Gar Saxon. I'll go back to my stance. Just ban it.
All right. So next one here is the starter pack Merrick Steel, a ship that we don't see played ever, coming in at 5 points. He does have some pretty good, some good equipment on him. He's got elusive, outmaneuver, and afterburners, which is absolutely good on Merrick Steel. But beyond that, he has to pretty much spend his action to take a target lock in order for him to get any sort of good offense on him.
You're killing me.
It is a bit of a stretch, I know, but if we can put him at 4 points and put custom Merrick at 5 points just to rotate him out.
Okay, can I have Grievous at 4 points, and can I get enough fucking loadout? Yes. Can I have 16 loadout so I can take Impervium plating and outmaneuver again? Then you can't have an outmaneuver.
If you get a standard loadout Grievous with a built-in shield upgrade, sure, yeah, that's fine.
This has a built-in shield upgrade too. Then no way.
No. I'm saying Grievous. I'm saying Grievous should.
No way in hell that should this outmaneuver Grievous or Merrick Steel be at 4 points. I'm sorry, it's a poorly built card, but no way. The last thing I want is a Merrick Steel, another Merrick Steel to be running around with a fucking out. No.
Honestly, I think it's the afterburners that does it for me. Just because it's that, like, just repositioning if you're stressed with the outmaneuver after doing like a 3 talent or something,
and recharging your elusive.
Right.
Oh my god. Move on. No, JJ, just no. There is no. I can't even. Your only argument is I want to play start out Merrick because I spent the money to get the stupid box so I can play in the store championship. That is your only actual argument here.
Yeah, where's like starter pack bombers, because those things are garbage.
Yeah,
with obvious a couple exceptions, but like starter packs, Tomax, he's 5. All he has is elusive proxy mines and barrage rockets with the original Tomax ability. So you just take a red reload to reload his elusive.
Oh my god, that's terrible. Yeah, you're right.
For 5 and barrage rockets. I mean, the proxy mines are really nice, but like I actually
overlooked that. I actually completely missed that. I forgot about that.
Everyone missed them because they're
3
terrible.
points. There you go. We'll make that Tomax 3 points to get rid of the other Tomax. There you go.
A proxy mine with the nimble bomber ability.
Yeah,
yeah, that's a little bit scary. But
no, that's Tanner's. That's my roundhouse. But you cannot have Merrick Steel at 4 points. That's like a living nightmare is what that would be. Yeah, let me give you that at 4 points. Okay, that's a really no.
Oh no, 6 point Gar Saxon. There you go. That's 10 points for America shooting 4 to 5 dice without
outmaneuver.
Yeah,
it's the new wedge at I5. It's the new wedge. Oh my god, no, JJ, no.
All right. Next
JJ.
one we got here is Major Vermeil, a TIE Reaper that we hardly ever see getting played here. He's currently at 5 points with 16 loadout. So that means currently he would be able to carry Vader if he wanted to. But I think that if we want to see him in a competitive piece versus what we see right now, which is pretty much Vizier, he's got to come down to 4 points, and you got to slash his loadout significantly. I would say at most he would be able to do like 8 points, I would say, of a loadout in order for him to be competitive out there. I kind of wanted to give him less. What's that?
Targeting computer and child comes in at 8.
Sure, that's fine. I mean, I don't want him to, like, part of my concern is for him to have Death Troopers on there, along with like something else, but I could be okay with Death Troopers. My main concern is him not being a PAL carrier, and I don't want him to be a Vader carrier either. I want him to be more
just kind of there you go. That's what I was gonna say.
He's more of an offensive Reaper, and I think that it should reflect for that, right? Vizier is more of a support piece where he's going out there providing that coordinated action, and he can carry a crew that can help him out like that, and namely Palpatine. And Vermeil should be that offensive piece where he's more focused on preventing action so that way he can get his own ability off there. And I think that coming in at 4 points makes him that piece that people can go in and consider running there. He still only has 1 agility. He's still an I4, so you can get ace fairly quickly. But if you don't take him out, he's going to be very accurate in his shots. And I think he's worth taking a look at for coming down in points and loadout.
He would take 5 at 4.
You want to know what would be really crazy? put him at 4 points, give him like 5 points of loadout, and then take one of his crew slots away so he can't run that. Give him a what do they call it? The slot that I could take FCS in. There you go, baby.
Oh, the sensor slot. Yeah.
Give me 3 points. Give him 3 points. I could take targeting computer, and then I could take FCS. There you go. That's all I need on Vermeil.
I'll do ruthless and FCS.
All right. Well, gotta give me one more.
Actually, no, he doesn't have the lock. Never mind. Yeah, it has to be targeting computer. You're right. All right, cool. So the next one up here, we got Captain Dobbs in the TIE Defender here, coming in at 7 points.
No.
So
no defenders at 6 that have free evades.
So yeah, so I understand, right? The free evades, that's definitely a big concern, right? Now, my biggest thing is that in order for him to be worth 6 points, you gotta slash the slots. Can't have a talent slot. Well, actually, I would consider him giving a talent slot only, but the loadout value has to come down a lot. The biggest thing is having him have the TIE Defender only talent, the Ion limiter thing, that he could do like a hard one thing in exchange for taking an Ion. I think that's the only thing he should be able to carry.
How about this? How about we keep his loadout points the same? We move him to 6, and we say you can only have him at 6 if you take the title. There you go. Problem solved. You know
that would be
free
great.
Evade.
That would be great. Yes, I would absolutely agree with that. Yes.
Then you don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an issue with the 6-point defender that's not Vader that has the title.
Yeah,
exactly. I'll give you that. That's fine.
Right. Yeah. Especially this one that like, oh my God, I got to take an Ion token. And how do I get rid of it? I don't have to get rid of it, but I don't know how to get rid of it. Like, you
just do the one straight, which is great for defenders.
Yeah. But now the next one here that we got here is a TIE Interceptor, brand new. It came in the new Battle Vendor pack, coming out at 5 points. Mouse Monair.
What is wrong with you and your outmaneuver at 4 points? I'm sorry. Like, I'm having a hard time with it.
He's an I3. How are you going to get outmaneuvered at I3? Explain it to me, please. I would like to know how that's going to happen.
You want to know how many times I have Grievous that's an I4 with an outmaneuver?
I4 is a different story. A one initiative matters, man. Come on. Grievous is not going to get outmaneuvered by Mouse. Come on.
You're an interceptor. You could be wherever you want. You can just flank really hard.
What does Fuel Injector Override do? Can you tell us what that does first?
Give me a second and pull it up here.
As your form of boost or roll action, you can spend one of the 2 charges to use a template of higher speed.
Oh my God, no! He's gonna outmaneuver you completely.
5 straight 2-bank boost. And then you can do the evade action and get a calculate.
Oh my gosh, he gets free money. It's like this is a mini
and no escape. Don't forget about that.
He's just a poorly drawn up. If he didn't have outmaneuver, I would say you could put him at 4 points, and I would be fine with that. I'm actually okay with that at 4 points. It's just the outmaneuver piece. I mean, at least at this point, like, but his reposition is just crazy. That's just crazy, right?
So,
remember, it's the sensitive controls too. So
yes,
like you can barrel roll 2 over in the system phase.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
so you decloak.
Yeah, I understand that piece, right? That reposition is pretty crazy and stuff. And the reason I put Lieutenant Laurier was just to compare with Mouse, right? For the reposition piece there, because Lieutenant Laurier has kind of the same thing, right? His reposition ability really allows him to get around ships and stuff and go out there still out of I3, but he obviously doesn't have the same evade into calculate ability that Mouse has there.
Would you say Laurier's repositioning allows him to outmaneuver your opponent's ships?
No, it allows him to get into spots where he's taking the least amount of fire, but he's still not going to put out a lot of damage output, right? Because he's focusing the majority of his actions on that reposition effect. Sure, he's going to have outmaneuver, but he's going to have a calculate maybe on attack. He doesn't have any rerolls unless you're really relying on you just naturally throwing out hits. It's going to be hard for Mouse to be hitting you, especially at I3. And if he's getting shot at from other ships, he's going to be spending those tokens. So it's tough for that particular ship to really be effective on offense. I mean, sure, you can put him in as an objective carrier,
you also have no
which would be a terrible idea.
You get a reroll.
Yeah. So, but again, I'm not asking him to be a 3. I'm not
Evade's
asking
only
to be
getting
a
shot
three,
at.
but yeah.
I don't know, man. You win this outmaneuver. I don't. Why can't you pick ships that don't have outmaneuver on them? Why are we talking about like? How about this?
Because
You
the
want
other
to
ships are
know?
actually good.
You want to
Good
know
thing
who
that's
should go down to 4 points? Seventh Sister. Give me Seventh Sister at 4 points.
Boba Fett.
You're talking
Mm,
about the
you're not having
the
Boba
TIE
Fett at 4
Interceptor?
points. Yes. Like that would be that's a ship I could actually get on board with. Let's cut some load out, put her at 4 points, and let her be a more competitive piece. Like because if you cut her down so she can't take out maneuver for Christ's sake, or even if you want to do it so she can't take a shield upgrade, like I'm
You know what?
somewhat okay if she takes a shield upgrade anyway.
Yeah, considering that fifth brother, second sister are 4 points in the V1, you know what? You make a good point. Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be a big a Nancy Poo here and like poo everything that you're saying. Like I'm sorry, like I cannot abide by standard loadout out. Like there's a reason they built this for 5 points. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Again, we could go back to Alex's model where we just increase points for a lot of shit, and then Mouser makes sense. He just makes sense then at 5 points. Like I'm not going to take him over Soon's here right now, but I will tell you there's a chance I might actually put him on the board. Like he is actually on my watch list of Empire ships that I would like to test out and try. But I can't give you the outmaneuver, man. And if you tell me Lieutenant Rear should go down to 2 points, you're fired.
No.
So just if you
Loria
say
was
that,
only there
I'm
just
ejecting
to
you from the
make the point.
podcast right now.
No, Loria was only there just to
Okay.
make a point. Now, so I understand you want to test him there, but he's a quarter of your list. Do you think you're going to get the amount of work or points out of Mouse for a quarter of your list?
No, but for a fifth of my list, I sure as hell don't want him to have outmaneuver on there.
I want to run double decimator with all this JJ meta outmaneuver stuff.
Yeah.
Gar Saxon, man, come on.
Oh my god, even worse. Yeah, we're getting Gar Saxon at 6
Gar
points.
Saxon with Mouse. Oh my god,
JJ's just building his new list. We have Gar Saxon at 6 points, Merrick Steele without maneuver at 4 points, Mouser at 4 points. We're not even we're
We got Boy
8.
Vader for the 6 extra
exactly
points. Done.
Like what? What? No, JJ. No, stop it. No. All right, can we let's move on to Duchess because you have some stuff in here that you don't have on here that I want to get through, and I want to finish this up before we end at least the Empire segment up tonight. And then next week, well, it won't be next week, it'll be the week after, we can talk about some of the other factions. I want to know why you want Duchess to go down to 4 points too. Or are you asking that we give her to 6 points?
So Duchess is either or for me. I think that she could benefit from having more loadout points, so that way we can actually equip her with like a good bomb, like maybe a proxy or something, or a cluster on there. In addition to having a good gunner and stuff, just so she's a more viable option at 5 points, or slash her loadout and bring her down to 4 points and have her be a 4 point striker that's out there. She only has 4 hull. Two defensive dice. That's way lower than what you can get currently in the Empire between either the interceptors that are available in like Soon's TFL and such, or in the TIE X1s with like Merrick Steele, for instance. So it's I think it's something that's needed to make her a more viable option for her to come out. I think that she's a great pilot, especially if you really know how to plan to like use her ailerons and then moving her afterwards. She can get into a lot of good spots there. I think that she's a ship that we don't see enough of that could benefit from either a loadout increase or points cost adjustment. So
I'm going to propose that I'll accept your 4 point Duchess with like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 loadout, 7 loadout, not 8. If we can raise all Vaders up to 7 points, no questions asked.
Yeah, I'll be okay with that.
All right.
Now,
I'm fine with Vaders going.
You're saying Defender Vader to 7 as well, right?
No,
you said all Vaders. You said all Vaders. That was a blanket statement.
All right, you cannot have Defender Vader should never be 7 points. I actually would argue Defender Vader should come down to 8 points, but that's like that's a whole different train that where none of us are gonna agree on, and that's like a 20-minute philosophical discussion because that Vader is just a poor design Vader. So
I think JJ just wants to bump up Duchess some more so he can put on shield upgrade and outmaneuver.
but there, oh my god, there we
She
go.
only has 1 month left.
Yeah, outmaneuver is
the talent.
And
Oh yeah,
shield.
yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Yes,
Yeah.
JJ wants to. Wait. Okay, now
I don't
5
know why I
points.
thought it was a mod for some reason.
So
Yeah.
5 points for an outmaneuver Duchess. 4 points for an outmaneuver Moss, and 4 points for an outmaneuver Merrick. So now we've got 8 points and 5 points again. So what is that? 13 points. You can still fit a Vader in there. And you could run custom Vader and run an outmaneuver custom Vader. There you go. Look at that. He could have all outmaneuver again. I genuinely, I don't mind if you cut her loadout down. I actually think that moving Duchess to 4 is probably not the end of the world. Like in the long run, all you're saying is she could just aileron every turn, and if she's stressed, she can do it if she wants to. I don't genuinely. They don't have the best blues. It's all banks, right? So, like, and she can die. It's not like she's getting that thing, and she doesn't like Goron can't affect her. So, I'm not actually opposed to cutting loadout and putting her at 4 points. I would probably run her at 4 points.
Yeah, as long as you can't put shield upgrade.
Yeah.
It still feels a little bit weird because of just how well you can outmaneuver people with Duchess.
Yep.
But also, you put it on targeting computer, then you got like 6 points left. What's the worst that can happen? You got Thermal Dats and Ruthless. Predator, probably. Predator Lone Wolf. Predator Lone Wolf targeting computer.
Yeah.
For 7 points in Duchess.
I'm okay, and I'm okay with that. I think for 4 points, I don't think that's. I will 100% agree with JJ on that one. I really genuinely think that's probably. I think that would be a good actual meta style change because you're giving a little bit more of a risky type ship. You can make it a 4-point pocket ace. It still is only an I5. I don't have
really
a
good
problem
with greats
that one.
though.
It
really
is,
good with greats.
I don't know. I agree with you. It is good with great, but it's not as good as some of the other stuff. Like,
I mean,
if we have
you're
countdown
doing-
at 4 points, so
That's exactly what I was going to say. You would pick countdown over Duchess for crates, honestly, but yeah.
so I think so I'm okay if we move Vader's all to 7. Like that's not really the end of the world, right? Like I think that's probably just like in a serious discussion point. That's probably not the end of the world, is it?
No, not at all. I think that all the Vaders have proven that they're worth their points, even if you're going up 1 point additional there. They're all worth their points. I would not hesitate to consider Vader as part of my list, even if he goes up to 7.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I would love for Vader to be up to 7. JJ, I noticed you didn't put any TIE heavies on here.
Yeah, I know.
I think they're all great.
I mean, the current TIE heavies right now that are 4 points are Rampage and
that's it.
And
just Rampage.
Yeah, just Rampage. So just looking at that pilot specifically, I think he's okay for 4 points. Ubo with the double tap cannot go any lower than that. I mean, probably /1 or 2 points on there just to control the sync laser cannon double tap crap with the targeting assist. But beyond that, he's fine. And then Light and Dre providing rerolls for the rest of the list. Does take some work to get to, but Empire already has a lot of good ways to help with double mounts already that I think would probably negatively give more power to the Empire. So I would keep Leighton where she is currently.
Yeah, I was just curious if you wanted to like bump up the loadouts on Rampage or Ubel or Leiden.
I would, but it also changes the way that they play. And I wouldn't know if bumping up the points on Rampage would make him more of a negative play experience. But I don't know, that would just requires a little more thought, I think.
I don't think I've ever had a negative play experience with Rampage, either playing for or against. It's just so fun just to crash into people and strain them out.
It
Yeah,
is
I
fun.
mean, and it's not stress tokens, so I think the other so I think we talked about Vader. I think Tomex Bren standard loadout Tomex that is 3 points should go up to 4. I think that's worthy of a 4-point ship. I would advocate leaving Deathfire at 3 at this current time, even though I know Deathfire is a menace and I think it's a different play style. And I don't actually have a hard I don't feel Deathfire is the it should go up. I don't think if he's at 4 points, he's just never going to get ran. So I think at 3 points he's fine, but I would move that Tomex up out of that 3-point spot. And then you're missing. We don't have any Inquisitors on this list. Like, where is my Inquisitor? Give me my V1 Inquisitors and give me some more loadout. Like, you don't got to move them to 3 points, but can you give me some more bloody loadout? You know,
You're talking about the generics, right?
just the generics, but they're still cool generics.
Yeah.
Can I get the Foresight Inquisitors again?
Yes, can I run?
So fun.
Can I run 5 of them? I ran them in a GSP tournament more than one time.
Pip them out a little bit. Can't take more than 2, but Foresight Inquisitors are super fun.
Yeah.
We don't have any TIE fighters on there?
Yeah, JJ.
I was looking at the 4-point TIE fighters, and really all we have on there is Howl Runner and
Iden,
which they
Leanda,
I
and
think
Gideon. Moff Gideon, not Gideon Hask.
yeah, and Moff Gideon, honestly. And after being beat by Moff Gideon by Duncan Howard and Richmond Open, he could stay at 4 points.
How about Dark Curse? Can we bring Dark Curse down to 3 points?
Oh,
Come on. Give me a 3.6 I6 TIE fighter.
Okay, so
With no mods.
Sincere Fell, Jendon, Dark Curse, and Sienna Reed. No, thank you.
but stuff like Magna Tolvin, you can get the point back, so you can do the cannon and actually do something.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just like some loadout adjustments. We can get the Jingoists back up from 5 points. They only got the Talon, the Illicit.
Yeah.
Just like some minor tweaks, not like a drastic points up, points down. Just like, that person might just go up or down. Night Beast at 3 doesn't need to be 2 again, but he's 4 points, double talent. Give him something interesting other than just crack shot. I don't know, Juke Night Beast would actually be kind of cool for 3 points, right? Just do a blue, get a focus, you have an evade, and juke. He's initiative 2, right? And he might spend that evade by then. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I almost kind of want to be able to play Night Beast again, just because that was one of my favorite ships to fly. Like, it was that was really cool. But I think that Miranda ship could go down to 3 points. I guess we haven't really tested her, but I don't see her being viable at 4. And a Valen Rudor, right? Can we give him something instead of just a double talent? Can he actually do something else?
Or bump him up to 6 so he can do a squad leader after someone next to him gets shot. That might be kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, that would be
all right.
Yeah.
And that's I would be okay with that too. It's just there's so many cool things. Or I don't know. These TIE fighters at 3 points is really hard to want to take, but at the same token, if you keep moving them down to 2, we got problems. So I don't know. Give me something unique on Valen.
What if he had Zane Marana with no loadout at 2 points? So if you happen to naturally get the crit, congratulations, give him a face down card.
Yeah, I mean that's the same power level as Bosk, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting.
Oh. Well, all right. Well, I think that's quite a bit. I mean, I thought so. Okay, I'm happy that this took longer than I thought it would, and maybe it's just because JJ just wants all out maneuver, and he wants a 5-point Jan Ors so that we could just run 4 4 to 5 attack dice freaking ships, and then he wants outmaneuver. JJ doesn't want the power level to go down. He wants his games to not be an hour and 15 minutes. He wants his games to literally be like 15, 20 minutes.
It will solve our ties problem. Okay. No more ties.
You're right. It would.
I want Ray down to 3 points, baby. Let's go.
No.
Right at 3.
All right, fine. When I can have Django and Zam and Boba and Aurora in a list all together, you can have Ray at 3 points.
Fuck it, why not? Just gonna
5 point fire sprays, baby. There we go. All right. Well, so I guess next week we are going to be talking about the Grand River thing, and I was going to open it up, and actually I could open it up. We could talk more points, but I think let's hold the points discussion since I don't think we're going to get it for a couple of weeks. I really want to talk team tournaments because one of the things that like I've maybe like prided myself on is how do you help build a community? How do we have that conversation piece? And like on this show, we've actively gone out of our way to say, we would like to continue to play X-Wing. Give us more shit to play. And it doesn't have to just be specifically ultra competitive. This team environment is like, I don't know, I ran duels. We actually didn't talk about this when we did the podcast last week for Worlds. I ran duels with Matt, and just standing next to your partner and having a conversation with him was so amazing. Like, because like there's certain things that I didn't think of, and then all it did is help me. I mean, I guess I got drunk later that night, so it didn't matter, but I probably forgot it all. But you know, it did help me kind of think through different pieces to say, okay, hey, I could go through and, you know, in the future, somebody's actively literally telling me what they think. They're like actually telling like this is a thought process to somebody else, like while you're playing the game. And you know, 2 out of the 3 games that we played, 100% worked. The one did not work very well. We did not. We rolled a lot of blanks too. I won't lie, but we definitely did not win that last game. But you know, I think it's an interesting discussion piece, right? And I think that's kind of something what I want to go over next week is team tournaments, how it can help build your character as an X-Wing player and help kind of build your skill set. And then it does like kind of somewhat of an equalizing level there, right? And I found that when we played Nickel City, that's kind of the same thing as I have teammates I could run my list by. Not that any of the CIS lists are super great, but it gives me the option to run different lists by people and say, hey, I'm playing with this. What do you think here? So,
yeah.
Thank you all for joining us for this episode of Planning Phase Syndicate, episode 141. We'll be back next week talking about team tournaments and all that fun stuff. Thank you all, and see you on the flippity flop.
Have a good night.